Once again, my proud privilege to invite Professor Jyotiraj Pathak, Head Department of Political Science, Bodoland University. Jyotiraj, you like to proceed here? Okay, please. And
our paper presenters, co-panelists, and audience, and my dear students. And as asked by the organizer, I will be limiting my lecture within 10 minutes because it's lunch time. And my issue to be presented is digital system, governance, and human rights. Since the very theme of the international conference is emerging issues, so I thought that digital system will be one of the emerging issues where it can be linked with the very basic issues of human rights. As earlier also I told that today is the beginning of 75th anniversary of UDHR. For the whole year, next year we will be celebrating it, organizing lots of program. And at the same line, as we know in India also, we are celebrating 75th year of this Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So to me, I think it is again, UDHR is another Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav against violation of human rights around the world. We should celebrate in that way. It's a kind of Azadi on our part around the world, and we must celebrate in that way. So let us start with the very basic issues. I may be informal in that way. As we know, yesterday Brazil lost their game in World Cup, FIFA World Cup. And my concern is that majority of the people, they could not watch the game. Because nowadays it is not free. It is not free. In our childhood days, the matches were telecasted in Doordarshan, where anybody can see it. But now very few people, to say elite only, they can see. So I think that is the beginning of inequality. That is the beginning. Because maybe India is not a direct part of this World Cup, but it is very popular in India. Even in Bangladesh also, it's quite popular in all the developing countries, since football is the most popular game. But because of this digital system, because this is being provided by some of the private broadcasters only, like Sony, ESPN and all these things. So in that way, the very issue of digital divide, since we are living in a digital world, definitely we have to address the issue of digital divide also. We are living in a digital world, but definitely there is a huge difference, huge divide among the communities, between sexes, among the areas, geographies, like that. So this is the main theme of my lecture. And since just now my honorable co-panelist Dongal sir also talk about this freedom of expression and all these things. So in this increasing digital world, our very right to privacy is being curtailed. Suppose my lecture maybe are being watched by people. If they think they can watch it from anywhere in the world. So that is the benefit of digital systems. But at the same time, there are lots of issues of concern which may curtail our human rights. If you remember 10 to 15 years back, when internet, say mobile telephony was introduced in India, during that time, Reliance Mobile was there. And they had a slogan, Kar lo duniya muthi mein. So that was very popular during that time. And even today also, what is internet? What is digital system? Where you can control everything with a small device, maybe called mobile phone and all these things. So through mobile phone, we can have international conference, and in majority of our interactions, transactions today, these are happening in the form of digital form only. So that's why we are always talking about data. But to me, even data is outdated. Today people are talking about big data. As earlier we used to call education, now today we are using quality education, like that. So data and big data, So in the name of big data, the big companies and even governments, they are accumulating so much of personal information which can easily violate our, say, right to privacy without our knowledge. For example, during COVID period and even after COVID period, we were forced to download one app, Arogya Setu app. And through this Arogya Setu, lots of personal informations were collected by government. So it's okay to collect huge data, big data during, say, humanitarian crisis, which can be easily applied to benefit some big section of people, like for migration, humanitarian disaster, flood, earthquake. It's okay. But the question is, who is collecting and how the information is, they are applying, they are using this information. Suppose today is the age of fake news. We know news is there. Earlier only we used to have news, but today we are having more of fake news, fake videos. Lots of people are sharing their information through WhatsApp. Even there is a joke that you are graduating from WhatsApp university only. Like that, because without verifying all this data, we are just forwarding. And we don't know who is forwarding what. And even Facebook, in Instagram, a big amount of data are being, used. And who are using? During election time, when I see there are some paper on election studies in Manipur, and even in all India context. So the big political parties, they are using those data. They are disseminating those data. Even in Assam, small state of Assam, in a regional council election, whenever you used to open Facebook, you will see that there is images, vote to party X, vote to party Y. And those are, you always remember, those are national political parties. That means big parties. I am not naming them. Perhaps you got it. Because the regional parties, they are, if in comparison with national parties, they are too small. So they cannot influence, they cannot buy those space, artificial intelligence and all these issues. So with this emergence of this digital system, there is no escaping. We have to be a part of that. But my concern is that whether it is curtailing our right to freedom of movement, because during Corona period also, the freedom was curtailed. There are drones were used, even today drones are used. There are CCTV cameras, these are in college, in universities, in shopping mall, in neighborhood, everywhere. There are smart TVs, smartphones, smart watches, smart toys, face recognition devices, punching machine in universities and colleges. So knowingly or unknowingly, we are part of this digital system. But the thing is that who is using, who is controlling all these things? So these are some of the concern. And here in Western countries, what they are following is that they are following the very old that method. The two schools we are always referring, one is Universal School on Human Rights and another is Cultural Relativist School. So for the Western countries, they are always following the universal norms. For them, what is popular, what is right for USA, that should be applied in third world countries like India. But for us, we are always applying this cultural relativism only. Suppose just now the Honorable Minister says that there are more than 20 communities in Manipur. Same applied to Assam also, more than 30 communities. Same applied to the whole northeastern region, more than 250 communities. So here we just cannot apply the norms on universal, these norms of human rights. So this, while applying all these things blindly, what the Western world are applying, definitely we are following the universal school, which in turn will curtail our human rights, and especially in the case of while we are using digital devices. So this right to privacy, while using those devices, definitely it will have a negative impact. Then again, those digital divide, what I just mentioned, Now there is the age of skilled workforce. Whenever we say skilled, what is the meaning of that skill? Definitely whether you are internet or say ICT enabled or not. Suppose in our organization, we often say that our some of the senior people, they are lacking those knowledge and we are always neglecting them. We say that you don't know how to have PPT, so we are laughing at them. So that digital divide is starting with that only. That the young people, they are having those skills and some of our senior people, they don't have that one. Then digital literacy is a big issue. During Corona also, we found that some universities like Osaka University, they excel because they are using for years all those devices. But what about our very remote areas, colleges, universities and schools? Again, you have smartphone for that. So the divide is about the having the cost of accessing those systems. Gender-wise also, we know that majority of the women, they are very poor in those areas. They don't want to use GPay, Paytm and all these things. They always send these issues to their husband and say fathers and their son. So then again, vulnerable groups, the indigenous people, minorities. So these are the issues where digital divide can easily be questioned. Then again, this issue of privatization. So I have limited time actually. Then these migrants, refugees, all those, they are the sufferer of this issue of say digital divide. So like this big data, there is now the issues of dirty data also. What type of data we are using? There are lots of applications we know, whether these are necessary or not. Knowingly and unknowingly, some of us, even we tried sometime also. Because it is so tentative that yes, let me try. So by trying those data, those applications, we are falling prey to them. Then, so at the end, conclusion, I will say that there were lots of issues actually. The need of the hour is to have a digital welfare state. Yes, we have welfare state. The concept is already there. But the need is that this state must be digitally welfare in its nature also. Because the recent data again shows that, say, in this year only, almost 85.
I mean, the topic, the title of the deliberation is a very judicious combination of three things: digital systems, governance, and human rights. And the way Professor Jyotiraj has correlated all these three things and how it impacts the human rights of the individual as well as that of groups. It was really wonderful. And one thing, I was attending one conference a few days back. Dear, what I have heard is that nowadays, at an average, every individual, whether one is young or middle-aged, particularly the younger generation, and also very young, youth, I should say, they spend at an average about 4.5 to 6 hours of, what is that? About say 4.5 to 6 hours, 4 up to 6 hours. They call it something. What time that was? I forgot. Anyway, they spend 4.5 hours to 6 hours time on their mobiles. So this means that whether we like it or not, the harsh reality is that we have become a victim of this digital system which you have mentioned. And so it is high time for us how the government should manage, should regulate these digital systems. And because without proper, regulation of these digital systems, I have lots of reservation whether all these digital systems will ever contribute in bringing about a progressive transformation of a society, a transformation of our social system from a differential social system to a more egalitarian social system, until and unless the way these digital systems works is properly regulated. So here governance comes to the scene. And yes, I'm also very much, curious about what you have said. Digitally welfare state, and we would like to know, to hear more, and hopefully, once, I do really hope that the organizers intend to bring out all the presentations in a book form, and